Almost Shabbat Shalom. Hello, everyone who is here and who is almost here. Okay. So, almost Shabbat Shalom. Hello, everyone. Oh, getting used to different systems here. But, going into places of unknown and sometimes things that are uncomfortable. That's the goal. To go to places that we're uncomfortable in. Places where we can show and practice the spontaneity. Spontaneous. Being spontaneous. There you go. So, almost Shabbat Shalom. So lovely to be here every Friday. It's like a meditative state to be here and to share with you and to explore different things, and things come up as I speak. And this week, wow, it's a lot of choices, really, a lot of the relationship to a choice, right? And I want to talk about the leadership and signs of leadership and how we deal with leadership and the choice. So when I say leadership, it starts from the grandiose, the big picture, and goes especially to our story, to our everyday experiences. And we're many times, everybody has drawers, everybody has closets, everybody has places that some people call them shadows, some people call them drawers. Everybody has that, and everybody relates to these places differently, right? So I would have something that I carry only for myself. This is my drawer. This is my space. And many times these drawers, these spaces where we go to, are considered to be places that we don't want to talk about, right? Or sometimes there is a shame of talking about these places, because everything eventually boils down to shame. We don't want to do something because we don't want that person to think, because we feel ashamed, because we are uncomfortable, because we don't know what the other person would say when we are peeling the layers. Right? But think about this: when we're in a closet or in a drawer, when we go to these places within us that are hidden, that are put to the side for whatever reason, we're actually going to a place. When we inhabit this place, usually it happens when we're alone, when we're doing it by ourselves, when nobody is near us, so nobody can judge us, right? And but we're going to an environment that we are creating an environment where it's comfortable to be that person, or comfortable to be or to inhabit that space within us. So we are actually in a nourishing environment for that particular thing, for that particular item that is in the drawer, for that particular feeling, or for that particular need or want or dream, or something that we're not ready to bring out to the light. So that environment, that drawer, think about it like the body of a guitar. The sound is contained within that body and creates that resonance. And so when we go to these spaces, we are creating these resonances that allow that that fear of revealing to exist. What if we would have taken that space and brought it to the outside? What's different between that space, that drawer? What's the difference between that drawer, that place that we are going there when we're alone, or and we're not showing to other people, to the open world, right? What's the what's really happening? So there is no judgment when we go to these places where we're comfortable to be in our own drawers, our own suitcases, drawers, closets, whatever we want to call it. There is no judgment when we are in it. There is judgment only when we leave it, when we are not in that drawer, or when we are not in that dark space of ours. Then there is judgment, because we're judging that when we are outside of it. But when we're in it, we're completely immersed in it. So that has to do with the choice, and has to do with leadership. And where does the leadership come in here? Is leadership is to listen. That's one of the key things that I've learned throughout time about listening, and I'm still learning. It's it's the listening, because there is so much noise outside our space. There's so much noise outside these closets, these boxes, that we are, many times it is hard to stop and just listen, and to listen to really what we're resonating with, what we are authentically connected with, right? So when we look at leadership, there are three keys really that are difficult tasks really for leadership. It is, and this is coming also in the parasha of this week. It is how to listen to an advice. When we get an advice, how do we listen to that advice? So this is a challenge. The second one is, how do we change based on the lay of the land? How do we change based on what is happening around us? And many times we can say, no, this is me. This is how I am. And I don't budge. I don't give in. This is how I am. This is, I'm in the world. I don't give in. How do we respond? Do we respond to change? Do we change? And the third thing is to admit when we are wrong. When we are wrong in the sense of a choice, that anything that has to do with showing up, or we're doing something. So do we listen to advice? How do we respond to change? And can we admit that we're wrong? So this parasha of this week, Parashat Bo, we are after the 7 plagues already, and now there are 3 plagues left. And what is happening throughout time is that Pharaoh, before each plague happens, seems like he is giving in, not through everything, but towards the last ones. He is kind of giving in and saying, you know what, just go worship. Go, he tells the Israelites and the Moses, go worship, take your people, go worship, do everything that you need. And then when the plague ends, he changes his mind and he hardens his heart. It's interesting, because God says to Moses from the beginning, before everything started and during, he says, continue going to Paro, because I have hardened his heart, and he will keep hardening his heart until I will give him the last boom, and then he'll let you go. He won't just let you go, he'll kick you out. So a side note, I mean, the question is, if there is if there is knowledge, if God is telling Moses, listen, I already hardened Pharaoh's heart, what's all the kahuna for? Why does Moses have to go through this and to do all these kind of things, and to go through the Pharaoh tells him yes, and then he tells him no, and then he tells him yes, and then he tells him no. So, God, you already said you're going to give him the plagues, so why don't you just give him the plagues already? And this is part of going through the experience of the shift, to see the experience, to see how shifts are happening, to go through the experience. And many times, I know that it happened to me many times, that I would want to graduate from a certain experience. recognizing my place in messing up relationships, right? So to go through that experience, and then after times I would hear a voice says, you want to graduate from that experience. You want to learn from what you needed to learn. The cost is the experience. And so the experience is creating this ground for us, this nurturing ground for us to see and to be able to map our experiences, map what happened, how did we act, what places we inhabited when we made a choice, right? So, the plagues and Pharaoh is keeping hardening his heart. After the ninth one, where there was the darkness, the advisors of Pharaoh told Pharaoh, listen, let them go, because they could see that his choices are coming from an egoic place, are coming from a place of, no, I have to prove that I am strong, that I'm tough. Pretty much what is happening right now in the world. I call all the top elite and the governments and all the institutionalized people, this is the beast that is trying to hijack, well, they're not trying to, they've already been hijacking most of our consciousness. This is the Third World War. It's not another bomb. This is a fight about our consciousness. And so there is this attempt to completely take over. And what is happening when the beast is fearing for their power being lost? They put more power. They try to put more fear tactics. The fear, the stripping away the choice, telling the people that they're sick, and now let us heal you. Think about it. Does it make sense to be healed by the same system that made us sick in the first place? Those kind of things. So Pharaoh's advisors are telling him, they see what is going on. They see what is going on, and they're telling him, let it go. You are leading our country. Our country is already, Egypt is not the empire that used to be. Egypt is done, and everything that you are doing is burying Egypt deeper and deeper in the sand. And so there, Pharaoh not just didn't listen to the advice, but he considered them to be weak. He said, you're just weak. And this is a great tactic of a common tactic of our ego to put somebody down, to make ourselves feel good, so we don't be ashamed and go into those dark places, dark boxes, saying, you need to listen. You need to listen. I've been to this movie before, the actor dies at the end. You need to listen, especially for people that are around you, and if it is your partner, if it is your friends. Sometimes it is important to listen. And then, are we in the place to make change? Can we adapt to changes that are happening and change our way of being in the construct, in the movie, in the scene? Let's put it this way. And to admit that you are wrong. And Pharaoh, not just that they didn't do any of them. And while the challenges of a leader is to be able to listen, to be able to change, and to admit that you're wrong, but the worst of that is to reject it, is to reject advice, is to reject change, is to reject admitting. Why? Because God forbid I cannot be seen as I'm weak, because there is a notion that to be a leader, you have to be like, oh, I'm not weak, I'm strong, I'm going charging, I don't admit the mistakes, I'm right, I'm leading. That's the old paradigm. That's the old paradigm. A leader is somebody who people turn to, and a leader who shares from their experience, and listen to advice and take advice, and not just that doesn't reject advice, but embraces it. Because if you are here to serve others and to be for others, we need to listen to the lay of the land and to see what is happening. And so, and of course, when there is something that we contributed to, or I contributed to a certain misunderstanding, it is okay to say, my apologies, I'm sorry, I oversaw this. We're all humans. It's okay. We're going through the same journey. So during this parasha, it's really about, the way that I see it in this section is, how are we changing? How are we listening to advice? And when we're in these closets, when we go to these places, why do we go to these places? Do we go to these places to seek comfort, to be in this place because we're seeking an escape? Are we going there because we cannot really tell anybody, so we have to go there just to satisfy our place of existence and seek for comfort and seek for non-judgment? What would happen if we bring our shadows out? It's about the integration of everything rather than the separation. And what is happening now uh, with Corona and all this, all that is happening with it, the masks, the closures, and everything. This is the beast is afraid. The beast is afraid to lose power. The beast, i.e., government above those who are sponsoring, those who are running and paying for everything and controlling everything, not listening to the advice, not listening to the advice that patriarchal is out of the door, matriarchal is here. Women have always had a power that is more divine than men, hence the fear of men uh, being invalidated. So let's put let's put some rules, let's put some power, let's assert power. And this was been happening for thousands of years, where women were and still are in many places suppressed in relationships, in work environment, in all kind of in the concept, all the work environment and this place and that place, these are the derivative of the concept. And the concept is we are better than. And therefore, all the choices that we make coming from that place. If we, however, say we all have the same gifts, we have different tools. Everybody comes here with different tools to express these gifts, to express the ability to connect to a higher vibration, the ability to create our own reality, the ability to think for ourselves critically, the ability to receive advice, the ability to adapt to the lay of the land. All these are within us. And what blocks them many times are all those things that we add over the years. Oh, I have to do this, or I shouldn't do that, or let me learn more. Let me learn more how to unlearn. Right? And we're trying to find our light, and we're trying to go through this process, through this excruciating time with adding more things that will help us see. Where in reality, what we have to do is peel the layers. Peel the layers so the outer rim will be opened up and the light will come in. So we have chaos now. And the chaos is what will allow eventually for the light to shine through. So it is really a choice of what place within ourselves do we inhabit when we make a choice? And what choice are we making? What is the purpose of it? What is the end result of it? Why are we making this choice versus that choice? Pharaoh's advisors told him, let them go. He already created havoc on this country, on this empire. Let them go. And he says, no, I have to show them who's the boss. I mean, this is what happens exactly here. We had a shift now, so let's see how things are happening. But this is what's happening all around the world, in Israel, in the US, and other countries. There is the fear of losing that control over people's critical thinking ability. And what happened for the last few years is to create more isolation between this department and this department, keeping everybody in their drawers, keeping everybody in their closets, giving them nice food, creating gold trimming around the closet, gold trimming around the drawer. Just be there. So let's separate so we don't talk between us, so we don't come and remember the essence of connection. But what happened with this Quranic era is the exact opposite. We understand, and we understand even better, even more to its core, the essence of our connected, the essence of belonging, the essence of being part of. And so we are part of these drawers. Let's be part of these drawers. Let's integrate these drawers into our life. Let's look at the lay on the land and say, why are we denying certain parts of myself? Why am I denying this really dream that I want to create? Why am I holding off? What is holding me off to um, to reveal that or to be in that place with my full self, completely show up? And when I say completely show up, it doesn't mean that everything will vanish, all the fears. It's a practice. It's a practice. And it is important to practice this where in a productive environment, in a nurturing soil, so the tree can grow well. If the soil is not nurtured, then we're not going to grow it healthy. So, so leadership. How do we lead ourselves? And how are we looking at things? How are we listening to advice? Are we accepting advice versus rejecting it? Are we accepting the fact that we need to change and look at the lay of the land? Things are not going to go back to how they were exactly. Many are waiting for things to go back exactly how they were. They will go back but mutated. They're already mutated. Things are already mutated. We're communicating differently. We are sharing ideas differently. So, and the last thing is, can we admit when we're wrong? And that will bring a really understanding of leadership within our lives, our lives in our families, our lives at work, any life. So, almost Shabbat Shalom to you. It's wonderful to be here again. Choose the place where you make your decisions from. Let's have a wonderful week. I'm iLan, and see you soon. Bye-bye.